Okay, sorry. Uh, on Shin Lamed Gimel. Let's go there. Let me just see how I want to do this. Looking at the drawing that he has. So we're going to go through at the top. This is the Chamesh Gevurot on Shin Lamed Gimel. And so then he shows us Chesed Gevurot Teferes. Then turning the page, he says Netzach Hod Yesod and Malchus. So let's see, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, is that right? Oh, that's wrong. Chamesh Gevuros, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's only 5. It's only 5, and then he gives us 7. Okay. Yeah. Let's look at it. It's just the Ekya. We have Ekya, and then we have the 10 letters. This combination of the I don't know, of the, we say the Pashut and then the count of the letters, and then all of that is going to go into Adni. Okay, yeah, that's right. I'm in the wrong. My mind is further up. Okay, then we have the same thing in all 7 of them. All 7. Let's read the. What I like to do is read the RASHASH, and then we'll look at the TIV, just to try to solidify our language. So he says on the Chesed, he says, where's this coming from? He says on Kuf Kaf Aleph, and we're not reading down below, just looking at the top. It says it comes from Mahachan the Hagat, and we know this is Chesed, the parts of Nai v'Chagat the Ben, the Zun. So Chesed would go on the Ma side, but since we're dealing with Gevurot, we're going to be dealing with Ben. Let's go over to the next one. Well, I guess we'll then we see what the Shefa, and then we said the Hachan the Chagat is going to go into the Chesed, the parts of Nai v'Chagat, and the parts of Nai the Chagat, the Ma, the Ben, the Yaakov Rachel. So this is ultimately going to go there. Okay, so the thinking, my thinking is that when he's saying that it's going to the right side of the left side of Ma or Ben or Ben to Ma or however he's doing it, he's saying that this is the parts of the let me see, is the parts of, okay, the Nai v'Chagat. He mentions the Nai first and the Chagat. So I'm thinking that this must be that he's talking about the Nai. I'm playing to you. It's just confusing when he talks about the parts of the Chagat and the parts of the Nai. We're really dealing with Chabad Chagtam. Isn't that what we're dealing with? And we're dealing with certain aspects of the Chagtam. You agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's just confusing because he talks about Chagat Nai, and at the same time we know that in the Chagat Nai or the Chagtam, he's not dealing with that. Okay, let's go on. So then we go to the next one, and I think we finished that. It winds up going to Yaakov and Rachel, which is Malchus. Let's read number Kuf Kaf Bet. Bebaga the Chagat, the parts of Nai v'Chagat. So once again, we're going to the left line. The left line of Chagat, which is Gevurot, and it's going to be Chagat, the Ben, the Zun, and that's going to be the Ben, the Zun, and it's going to go to the Baga, the Chagat, after we see the combination there. What's going into Chagat, the Baga, the Chagat, the parts of Nai, Chagat, the Ben, the Yaakov Rachel, and it keeps going like that. And then we have the next one in Tiferes is Midati, the Chagat, the parts of, it goes in the middle line, the parts of Chagat, which is, I guess, what is Chagat? Dati the Chagat is the middle line. The parts of Nai v'Chagat, the Ma'u, Ben, the Zun. So the Dati, and it's going to go to the same thing, the Chagat, the parts of Nai v'Chagat, the Ma'u, Ben, the Yaakov Rachel. So it's going to go that same way. We'll just finish it out and just see what they say. And we'll come back and we'll look at it in the Tiv. So it goes, so Netzach is coming from the Hach and the Nai. It's coming from the right side of the Nai, which is Netzach. the parts of Chag Benai, which would be the partsufim of those, the Ma, the Ben, the Zun of the right side of the left side, because we're dealing with Gevurot. And it's going to go to the same place, the Chacham, the Nai, the parts of Chag Benai, the Ma, the Ben, the Yaakov, the Rachel, and eventually go to them. And the next one is going to be, for that is Hod, Mebaga Denai, the parts of Chagat Benai, the Ben, because it's Hod on the left side of the left side. And he shows just the combination. Then it's going to go to the same place. It's going to go to the Baga Denai, the parts of Chagat Benai, the Ben, the Yaakov and Rachel, the left side of Rachel, Yaakov and Rachel. And then we come to Yesod and Malchus, which are Kololim. And the words are Medati Denai. It comes from the Dati of the Nai, the parts of Chagat Benai, and that parts of, once again, the Partsufi. He doesn't say any more Partsufi. He just says parts of Chagat Benai. He says the Ma'u Ben, the Ben. It's the right side of the Ma'u Ben. That is the right side and the left side of the Ben. And we're going to go to the Dati Denai. The parts of Chagat is going to go there. Chagat Benai. Again, parts of, now he's calling it singular. He's calling this as one parts of, like that, the Ma, Ben, the Yaakov, Rachel. And then the last one is, as we probably already know, is going to be Mahacham Bagadati, the Malchios. And try to remember that these are meditations, and if you have the time to be able to actually look at this and feel what's going on and how that is transporting down to the parts of Chagat Benai, the Ma, Ben, the Zun. So the Ben, the Zun is their anpin. The Chachan Bagadati, the Malchus, the parts of Chagat Benai, so it's going to go to the right line of the middle, that is the left line of the middle line, the Malchus, the parts of Chagat Benai, of that parts of the Ma'u Ben on the right side, and the left side, the Yaakov Arachel. Okay, so that's that little thing there. So that's what they look like. That's what the Gevuros look like, and they're that size. So let's read a little bit on page Shin Lamed Gimel. Let me see if we can see that there. And let's look at the TIV down below. Let's read. Well, we'll get Mahachan number Kuf Kaf Aleph. He said the Mahachan the Chagat, the parts of Nai v'Chagat, the Ma, the Ben, the Zun. And once again, he does say just parts of. He doesn't say partsufi. I'm not sure why. The Hachan, the Hagat for the right side, that is the Chesed, the parts of Nai v'Chagat, of those two outer rings, so to speak, the Ma, the Ben, of the right side, of the left side, the Yaakov Rachels, where it's ultimately going to go. And the words are Hamshacha the Kale Rishon, the Gevuros, the first Hamshacha. He says, Meha Gevuros Shenimskocho B'Hachan, which is the spheres of Chesed, the parts of Nai v'Chagat, that come from the parts of the Nai v'Chagat, Perik Tachton, the Perik Em Soy, the Chesed. So over here, he still says with the sake of the word parts of instead of partsufi. The Ma, the Ben, the partsufi zun. Here's the partsufi zun, that is their anpen lahamshichem b'hachan the Haggad spheres hachesed, and take them from the spheres of Hesed, the partsufi nai v'Haggad perik tak, the perik elyon. He says that the emsoy, perik tachton, the perik emsoy, the Chesed, the Ma, the Ben, that is of the right side of the left side, because we're always dealing with the left side here when we're dealing with Gevuros, I guess, the parts of Yaakov Arachel, and that's where it's going to go. On Kuf Kaf Aleph, it says, Me Baga the Hagat, it's going to go for the left side of Chagat, which is Gevurot. Kavod Hamshacha shall Shar Shemos Kale. So now we're going to look at all the names of Kale, and he's going to go through them quickly. He's going to say Kale Hasheni Megavura Shanimshkoch Bebaga. So now there's going to be a left side of the left side spheres Hagavura. The Partsuvi Nagi Nahi Vachagat, the Perik Tachton, the Perik Em Soy, the Gevura, the Ben. On the left side of the left side, the Partsufi Zun of the Partsufi the Zun, which is their Anpet. We're going to take them from there, V'hamshich and the Baga, the Chagat. We're going to take them to the left line of Zeranpin, or Spheres HaGevurah. We're going to bring in the spheres. So that is what, I said this wrong. It said the Baga, the Chagat, which is Gevurah. The parts of Nai, V'Chaga, B'Perek Tachta, the Perek, and B'Sochai, the Gevurah. The Ben of the left side of the left side, the part Sufi Yaakov Arachel, that's where it's ultimately going to go. Number Gimel is Kale Shlishi. We go to the third one, which is going to be Teferes. Mahagavura Shenimshuch Bedati the Chagat, so it's coming the Gevuros that come out of the middle line of the Dati the Chagat. It's the Dati the Chagat, the middle line, Spheres of Teferes. The Partsufi Nai V'Chagat, so it goes in all to these different places. But Paragat Tachta, the Paragat Besoid, the Teferes, the Ma'u Ben, the Partsufi Zon, etc. So they're all going to go and they're going to come and say the same thing. Now let's go over to the time that we have here and let's start the next one. I'm not sure exactly where to go after the next couple of sections, but we'll see what I could do. He says we come to the word Hayom. So if we move over to the page Shin Lamed Ches, so now we can see this next Kapshacha, which is in the form of, let's say, 1, 2, 3. He said we go to the Akya and we do the same kind of thing. Is that we take the 10 letters of the Milui, this is the Milui of Ma, and we bring them to this phrase, Kale Havaya. So now we have Akya, and we're bringing them to this Kale because we know that 21, which is Akya, and the 10 letters makes 31, and it comes to the Gematria of Kale. This Kale, which is very important, this is trying to understand what it is, but I'm not sure I do, is Kale Havaya. So the Kale comes about as a result of taking the Akya, which is a Pashut, and it's 10 letters, and then you'll be able to bring this to the Havaya. And it goes through, as we turn the page, a Chesed Gevurah Teferes, that's a Chod Yesod, the Malchus, it goes through all of those. These are the Chamisha Chasadim, which are being sent into Zeranpin. Let's look over here at this Hagdama on page Shin Lamed Vav. And it says like this: Nakdim es lashon Rav b'shar gavonos. He says what? He says v'zel lashonim v'amrachocha b'yom kach v'kach. When you get to saying it finally today, you're going to say the day of that before you count, or as you're counting. That's the count. The kaven ki yom hu b'gematria kale havaya. So since the word yom actually has a gematria of 31 plus 26. He says, "V'hakavana he, and the kavana is ki kamo shagavanta, I guess, lahamshek kale ba'adni, just the same way that we want to bring this kale." Now, it's really important, which I don't know, is what the significance of this word kale is. It's if you put this all together, this is the juice of what you're getting. Coming back, I think that it's a lavush. So he says, at any rate, let's see. Lahamshech kale ba'adni, kain tekavein lahamshech shem kale b'zer anpen, hanikwa havaya ad kan lashana. Number next, he said, behind the kashem shebetevas spheres omer. So we took those words, we took the Rosh Hashavas, the tevas of those words. Shachtach el Nook shemus kale, we're the same way that we did it over there. Shehem levusha hachug. Okay, so now he says, okay, it's the levush of the chasadim and the gevurah. Kain al derek zem mekuvanim atacha b'tevis yom lahamshek lezah es shem ukel. We're going to do the same thing. Shehem levusha hachug. Va'af dekavar amshachno. But here's a question. He says that they already brought them in. Va'af dekavar amshachno zer anpen as a chug v'levushechen b'tevis avaya the bracha. That's where we had the havlah. Sham nimshkoch belocha chug de bechinas ach. But here's the difference. He says this is the chug of the bechinas of the panim. V'kan mamshichen lo as a chug de bechinas panim. So I guess here Sar Shalom must be the name of the basic sitter of the Nar Shalom. So we talked about this in Os Tes. What do we say? Sheniz Bayer Barichos Shitos Hashonas Bazah. So he said, V'hine kan, but here, mamshichin rak as levusha hahug. But here we're just really working on bringing the levushim of the hug, belogas hahug atzman, ein shefa, harashash. So there's going to be something brought up on that. Let's see. So let's look a little bit more. Kufkaf Gimel. So he says Yom Ima Kolo Gematria Kale Havaya. So if you put it together, that's what you got. But you have to have a kolo in there. But Yom on the words Hayom Yakavin Shu Ola Gematria Kale Havaya. The Ramos El Hamshachos Shemos Kale Shehem Ha'acharayim the Agya, which is we understand Asher Asa the Bechinat Panim. So now we're dealing with a full-fledged Agya. He says Al Hazash Hu Shem Havaya, which is Havaya. Now he says the Chamshik Asare Kale. Now we have 10 Kale. He says I only see 7. So he says we have 10 Kale. I guess he has Chasadim and Gevuros. So he's a Mispach Pashut. So he says, let me say the Chamshik Asare Kale. B'mispach b'pashut v'eser osios the chasara ekya of those 10 ekyas the levushi haponim the hug de'ima. So he said v'yikavi l'chamshik asara shemas kale. Now we'll do this 10 times. He says shem asara levushi hachug, which are actually 10 levushim of the hug hanimshachim me'ima, which is coming out of ima. He said v'chem ekya pashut. In Misbar Asara Osius the Ekya, which we've said before, B'miloi Ola B'miloi, and you put them together, these two things. So this is a very heavy, I guess, a 2-part, because it has a Pasha and a Male, which you count up the numbers. He said that's the Lavush. So he says the Lavush. So we're dealing with the Vush. We're bringing to Lasara Shemos Havaya the Panim, the Partsufi Chagat V'nai the Ma. The Ma'u ben the Zun of the right side and the left side of Zun. He said, Yakave, Laham Shichan the Sarah Shebas Avaya, behind the call Echad Parzufi Chagat the Nehim, that is every one of the 7 Parzuf the Bechinas Panim, the Ma'u ben, Tzad Yamin and Tzad Small, the Zun. V'hinei Meshachim kan the Vusha HaChamesha Chasadim, so we're bringing the Levushim of the 5 Chasadim. V'chasheni bechinas klalos the Chasadim. Then after that you have the klalos of the Chasadim. Shekeneged Yisod and Malchus. V'chein Levusha HaChamesha Gevurot. So this is the 10 that he's talking about. Bechinas klalos the Gevurot, the Siddur of Rashash, and then the Rashash it says the Hamshek call Echad Me'elo. Yud bechinas levusha hachug. We're going to take these levushim called echad the SEFIRA achad b'SEFIRAs chagat nehem dizan. We're going to take each one of them to a different SEFIRA in Zer Anpin. Zer Anpin the Shnei haprakim shalav and its 2 lower prakim, which is the emsoy, which is chagat, and the takam, which is not nai. The Sedach HaGavonach of Anasaderes Khan, who is what? The Kikaven Shemizbar Ekya, so you had this Gavana that the count of Ekya, 1, Betsiris Asara Osius the Shem Aleph K, these letters, these 10 letters here, Odach Hashem Kale. Now, what do we get? The Yakaven Lahamshek, and the Kavana is you made this nail, and now you go Lahamshek Shem Kale Hazecha the Shem Havaya Dezah. The V'yihi B'Sham B'Zah Shemos Kale Havaya, and now Zah becomes a Kale Havaya, and that's it. The shir today.